control. Politicians and celebrities make deals behind closed doors, promises broken, and their income soars. Hidden agendas run the grand parade. In the circus, choose a masquerade. Believe me, I wouldn't lie. I've been given money, power, and fame to keep you in line.
Welcome, everyone. I hope you all had a fabulous holiday, a great Christmas, or whatever it is that you guys celebrate. I know some of you love Christmas. I know. But I don't know. My Christmas was very chill. It was very how can I say this? Very boring. I don't know. We did not have any, extraneous things happen. There was no like extra family members that came over. It was like very chill. It was like the first Christmas, I think, in my whole life where it was just like my immediate family, which was like kind of nice, you guys. It's kind of nice to just have, just your precious few people, right? Like you don't need 5 billion people over all the time. Like every holiday doesn't have to be this big thing. Yeah, and I understand that some people really like having big groups of people, but I feel like ever since ever since the pandemic, I kind of like enjoy just being home with like my immediate family, not like a bunch of people. For my birthday, we had a big dinner with a bunch of people over, and I think it was too stressful for me. I think it's like a lot of work, all the preparations, all the the people trying to piss me off, like my brother trying to like throw stuff around, my expensive ornaments or whatever to like break stuff. I don't know. Like it's a lot. Okay. I like the peace and the quiet and the chill of just like my immediate family, Like, don't you guys just like that? Isn't that nice? Isn't it like I've never had an actual stress-free holiday. I've never had that. Like it's always like you're in the car, you're traveling somewhere, you're like going, like it's like, backed up traffic, you're going to another state, you're going on a crappy plane, or whatever. Like there's always like some sort of travel, and then you get somewhere and it's like everything's go go go, and then it's like we got to go look at the lights, now we got to wait in line for this and we got to wait in line for that, and then like I don't know if it's for everyone all the time, like every year. Like maybe give me 2-3 years of like this chill type of Christmas time and I might be ready for like a big family, extended family thing. Yeah, I have a brother and my sister you guys seen a few times. She's come on. Yeah, my brother will not come on. He does not support my internet endeavors. He says it's shameful to the family. I don't know. He's an idiot. He's little, so like he's my little brother. So like, does his opinion matter? I don't know. Anyways, I would like to say that I have spoken to MLD and he is recovering from his surgeries or whatever the hell he's had done. It's going to be like new year, new body, like head to toe. He's getting everything replaced and upgraded on his whole frame. So good for him. He's got the money to do it. So if that's what makes him happy, then, we're happy for him. And I'm sure everything's going to turn out great. He just needs to chillax. I think he's like this after these surgeries, like, he needed to get his knees fixed or whatever, because, he had injuries. So that too. But like, like ultimately, I think he's good now and he needs to just like grow old, relax, just like chillax. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think this is true. He will never admit this to us. He will never admit it. But I feel like he's been influenced by this nerd. Oh my gosh, like ugh. It's enough already. Like if you're a chick and you're really, what's it called, chopped or whatever, and you want to like ascend, as the kids say, I understand that because you're a girl. I hate to say it, but like your looks are literally very important when you're female. Like I'm not saying you got to be perfect, but you have to be like at least cutish, for the majority of your life, which is really really hard because you're going to have good times and bad times, and sometimes you're not going to feel like being cute, or you're going to be going through a very stressful time, and you're going to want to you're going to want to like I don't know, like grow old at some point. Like it's a lot of pressure for girls. So I understand if you're a girl, that's fine. But boys, you guys just got to be cool, Like be cool. Be cool to be around. And I'm telling you, now it helps if you're cute too, but like just like be a vibe. Chicks are all about feelings. So if you're a good vibes, they're going to like hanging out with you. If you make Maybe we should talk about this today, because I was going to just do like random, my random nighttime advice and opinions on stuff stream. But like one thing that I would definitely say is chicks really care about how you make them feel, right? So everything is fifis with chicks, and that's just how they were wired, right? You just got to give them good vibes, you guys. So like if I was a dude, knowing what it's like to be a female, if I wasn't like super, super attractive or super wealthy, if I'm just like a regular 5 out of 10, normal person, normal job, no big deal, what I would do to give myself like the best edge is I would just get a girl and like make her girlfriends jealous of her. I know this is really manipulative and evil and sinister stuff, but I'm telling you, girls only care about how you make them feel. So if you can just like embarrass her friends, I'm telling you, like every girl has like a few. If your girl's like half cute, if she's like above like a 3, she's gonna have haters that are like trying to pull her down or whatever. They're jealous of her. So just freaking make the other girls jealous of your girl. And if you do that, you got the keys to the kingdom, because that's all that matters. Like literally just saying like, oh, anything for you, sweetheart, or like, oh, I like to spoil you, and then get her something in front of like, make the other chicks so jealous. I'm telling you, like, make them jealous. Like, I'm serious. Like, I think my husband is like the hottest thing on earth, because when he insults other women, of course he does it like not on purpose. Like sometimes he's just like, I'm just being honest, sometimes whatever. But like he will insult someone and make me look good at the same time on accident. This is not simping, you guys. You guys have to understand the difference. Simping is like when somebody doesn't reciprocate. If he was like chasing me around and I'm like, ew, get away. Oh my God, how could you? That's a simp. Or if you're like paying a girl for your attention and time, if you're giving her money, that's a simp. But if you're just like saying stuff or acting a way to piss off the girls that are jealous of your girl, that's being freaking awesome. That's building what I would call trust, throwing trust in the bucket. Okay, look, let's take the buying stuff out. He didn't buy anything and give it to me to like make other people jealous of me. What he would normally do is like, let's say a girl is jealous of me and then she acts very slutty towards him. By him saying, ill, no, thank you, or like, I don't like, why are you acting like this? Why don't you take advice from Kat on how to act? She knows how to get guys, stuff like that. He says very because he doesn't think about it, like he's like trying to be helpful, but unknowingly like being really insulting to the girl while making me look good. Like I know like you guys want to say that's simping, but that's not simping. That's literally amazing, right? And when he does that, like that's like I think about that to get off. Like I think about those moments where like he like put someone who's basically trying to put me down. No, doing the dishes. That's not it. It's not. Listen when I'm talking. Listen. Okay? So, kind of, make her like, oh, like if a girl's like trying to like show her boobs and he's like, "Oh, you're looking kind of desperate. You shouldn't dress like that." And then that makes me look good and it puts her down. Like this is all like this is the feels, these are the vibes that chicks are talking about. Some things that will lower your value are if you're out with a girl and another girl hits on you and you don't like shut it down, like it's totally cool to like, get hit on. Like that makes you look good to get hit on. But if you engage it to the point where you're making the girl look like an idiot or look like a fool, you've crossed the line and now you've lost your vibes because you're not making her look good, you're making her look bad. If any girl can come and take you away from your girl, it's not a good look. And I know. Okay, look. You guys come from like a place of insecurity when you do this. When you're hitting on other girls in front of your girls. This is like once she's your girlfriend. This is not like a random girl you're trying to impress or trying to show that you're high value. This is like your girlfriend, or God forbid, this is already your wife. You got kids at home. You're not supposed to be whoring still. You're supposed to tone it down at this point in your life. You're supposed to be able to make other people look bad, to make her look good. This is the girl you picked. This is not like you're not trying to win or manipulate anymore. You've already got her. This is yours. Now you got to give her the good vibes. And the good vibes include making other people feel bad sometimes. And not like, don't do it to like girls who are just standing there like, oh, you look stupid. Like, no. That's not, it's very nuanced. It has to be a girl is trying to hit on you, not because of you, because she sees your girl. Now she feels a certain way. She feels less about herself. Your girl looks better than her. She looks happier than her. She's jealous of your girl. So then she's going to hit on you as a way to one up the girl. And if you engage in that and you don't shut it down, you really lower your girl's value. And when you do that enough times, she's gone. Because this idea that you have to insult people to keep them is very a point of weakness. We know when you guys are doing that, right? And I get the negging thing is like, that's very immature. It works on very immature people, but if you want a long-term relationship with a family someday, you got to graduate from childish negging to. You guys ever see that show Iced Tea and Cocoa? Right? Like it was like, I don't know, in the 90s or something, or maybe early 2000s. I don't remember when they had that show come out. But if you watch that show, it's a master class in a good marriage and a good relationship. And they're not perfect people. Like she dresses like a skank still. He dresses like a slob. But, they're not perfection. But how they treat each other and how they make sure nobody insults the other one in the relationship, that's top tier, That's what you want in life. No, there's plenty of good marriages. You guys got to stop with that. Remember, everything is propaganda. So if you're watching television and you're expecting it to not be propaganda and for them to show you everything in the world, or if you're watching A Family Requires a Career, yes, it does. Yes. you need to be able to afford a family to have a family. That's the thing. That's why it takes some guys until they're 50 to have a family, and that's fine. Who cares? Some guys even 65 start a family, or maybe they don't get a family, but they get a wife at 65. Like there's no timeline per se, unless you want to have kids. I would say try to do it. I would say, what's like the latest you can have kids? I would say 50. Probably the latest you want to have kids. You can have them after that, of course, but look, F is for family. No, stop. You guys have to stop with the propaganda. Yes, there's always going to be miserable people and miserable relationships and miserable marriages. And just like that, there's the opposite end of the spectrum, and they're doing great. Yeah, okay, look, I would say this is fine. Women 35, figure it out. Men 50, figure it out. That's all. Whatever. Now, if you don't want to have kids, you don't have to figure it out, right? Like, you don't have to get married. Nobody's forcing anybody to get married. If you want to do the I'm just going to F around thing, then you can do that. Nobody's forcing anybody. It's only if you have kids that you should be married. Okay, yes, everybody. Congratulations. Now they can do whatever they want. Perfect. All right, so let's move on. You guys, let's move on. All right. To some questions. All right, so in relationships, do you think psychological compatibility is more important than physical attraction, and why? So for this one, I would definitely say physical attraction is very important for men. Very important for men. But a lot of long-term happy relationships, the woman wasn't sure at first, right? Because women are evaluating outside of looks. So you need to give them more time to evaluate. When guys try to speed it up, she's probably not into you. Like, if you're trying to speed it up, she's not into you. And if she's like trying to speed it up, she's probably mentally ill, and you're not going to find out until it's too late. Always in relationships, you have to slow it down. You need to get to know them outside of the bedroom, outside of everything, outside of all that stuff. Anyways, okay. So I think physical attraction is very important for men to have. She needs to be your type. I hate it when I see guys who settle for some girl and they keep complaining because she's not their type. And then they destroy her confidence. They destroy how she feels about herself. They destroy the relationship. It always implodes because a girl can eventually figure it out. If you're constantly looking at a certain type of girl and she doesn't look anything like that, it's going to eat away at her. It's going to destroy the relationship. It's going to destroy everything. So don't do that. If you have a type, like I had this one guy friend, he was obsessed with Asian girls. And every time he dated a non-Asian girl, eventually she figured it out that he was obsessed with Asian girls, and she would feel a certain way and it would destroy them, make her jealous, make her neurotic, make her depressed. And then eventually she would leave or he would leave because the fighting would be too much. It's just like not cheeks. Once girls realize your type is not them, it's over because they need that. They need to be your type physically. That's a big part of like female, what's it called? Attraction is that they know they are your type. So it's kind of like based on the guy, right? So it's like, if I know I'm hot to you, then I find you hot. Isn't it weird? Isn't that weird? It is weird, but it's totally different. So like guys have to be attracted. Women, you can influence women with your personality. You can influence them with how you make them feel by doing things that it's not simping. Doing things like insulting their rivals is a big one. Every cute girl has rivals. It comes with being cute. It comes with being even a good person. If you're a nice person, if you're a nice female, a kind female, right? You're going to have a lot of female orbiters that are haters of you, like secret haters, frenemies. They're like to your face, oh my God, I love you. And then behind your back, they're talking crap about you. Like every decent female has those. Um, and there's a psychological reason for that. Remember, we're all just animals, and it is a thing. So hyper attractive, beautiful females, they have to, in nature, be very protective and very mean, right? They have to be cutting and mean and cruel and stuff like that, because if you're a female and you are both cute or, God forbid, beautiful or incredibly attractive, and you do not have a way to push people away, you are in danger. Women who are attractive are always in danger. So if they have no way to like be cruel and push strangers away until they know that they're trustworthy, that means like they're not very smart, and that's when they can get into problems. Well, the world is inverted right now. So because of social media, chicks have endless people online who will tell them that they're attractive when they're not and will give them money, right? The problem is these are not the type of men that they want. These are actual simps, the guys who will like tell someone that they're pretty who doesn't care about them and doesn't reciprocate. That's a simp. Let's define simp. Simp is you tell a woman that you like her, you buy her things, you do things for her, you do too many favors, you hold her bags, even though she's not your girlfriend in the mall. Like you just do stupid things that put you like beneath her, and you think it's going to make her like you. That's a simp, okay? It's very clear what a simp is and what a simp is not. Now, some people think that the sugar daddy, sugar baby situation is a simp. That is usually not a simp. It's usually a wealthy guy who does not want to get married. He does not want the paperwork. He doesn't want someone to take half his money. He doesn't want any of the drama. So, and he's got money. So a couple hundred or a couple thousand to him means nothing. You do not understand what it's like when you have millions and millions and millions in the bank, a couple thousand here and there for a sugar baby on the weekend means nothing to you. That is not simping. That is transactional. That is like getting a prostitute. That's what that is. A sugar baby is like a prostitute. Basically, it's a nice way of saying that. So please do not think that is simping. Yes, always simp for your wife, but I don't call it simping. Okay? Did I watch Clary recently? Like what did I say that Clary said? I haven't watched like the last 20 episodes he's done because he's constantly posting. But anyways, so yeah. If you got a good girl, your wife, you have kids with her, it's just being a good husband, okay? That's all it is. Like if you buy your wife flowers, that's good. If you buy some chick who doesn't like you and doesn't know your name and doesn't care about you flowers, that's simping. If you buy your wife a Christmas present, that's not simping. If you buy some girl in your class a Christmas present, that's simping. If you invite your wife to a concert, that's not simping. If you invite some girl that you are attracted to at work to a concert and she's never talked to you before, that's simping. I mean, you guys get it, right? Like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know sometimes with y'all. If she's your wife, it's totally fine to do stuff for her. That's normal. That's all. Now, okay, look. Okay, if you keep saying yes to your wife, that's okay. There's nuance to it. If your wife is very respectful from you, like you're the final say, right? She trusts you and you're the final say. You're not going to say yes to everything and she's going to be like okay with it, but she's going to you as a final say. Like, I want to do this. Do you think I should do this or this? If she's doing that, like, just give her, stuff that's nice. And you don't have to say yes all the time. No. Does my husband say yes to me all the time? Absolutely not. He says more no's to me than yeses. But he still buys me stuff and takes me places and wants to do things with me. Like, that's not simping. There's nuance. There's always nuance. So let's see another example. Like sometimes I'll say like, "Oh, I think we should get chickens again." And then he'll be like, "Absolutely not." And I'm like, "Ah, fine, whatever." And then sometimes I'll be like, "Maybe we should go here for vacation." And he's like, "I don't want to go there." I'm like, "Okay, what about here?" "Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe that's better." Like, it's a conversation, right? That's like a relationship. I don't know how to say. Like, there's going to be a back and forth, and ultimately, he's one with the money, so he has to make the decision because he's the one who's trading his time for money, right? So he makes the final decision. That doesn't mean he doesn't listen to me, okay? And that doesn't mean he doesn't take my thoughts and what I want into consideration. That's just normal. Yeah. Definitely, if you're on a date and you pay, that's normal. If you take a girl on a date and you don't pay, like, don't expect it to go anywhere, right? Now, if you take a girl on like hang out like a friend, yeah, everybody should pay for themselves. And then if you later like them, then you ask her on a date and then you pay. That's all. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. Simping is when the man's entire masculine and point of origin is geared towards the woman's sensibilities and is never reciprocated. Yeah. Yeah. I would say that's a good definition. Like, what simping is when you see it. It's always like, it's hard to describe it, but when you see it, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so bad. Like when there was this one Caleb Hammer, whatever show, like that financial guy, and he had this couple on. I was on MLDs one time, he was showing me that. And like this woman was like, "Oh, I leave my kids with my husband, and then like I travel around with my girlfriends, or I travel to get my hair done in like another state because she's like a flight attendant or something." And she's like doing all this stuff, and then he's complaining because she's wasting all of the family's money on vacations. And it's kind of like that would be a simp. You understand? Like that's not good because first of all, she's wasting the family's money. He says we need to save money. She doesn't care, right? She's doing it anyways. She's going to another state to get her hair done. Like, what? Okay, and it's like $500, $600, $700 to get her hair done, which is ridiculous if you need to save money. And then she wants to go on all these vacations, which are very expensive. And it just seems like she's not very responsible. She clearly doesn't respect him because when he says no, we need to save money, she's like, no, we don't. And I feel like the main reason for this is because they make exactly the same amount of money. And that ruins the power struggle, like the power structure of a relationship, unfortunately. Like, we wish we live in this fantasy land where it doesn't matter how much money you make and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, if your girl makes equal or even almost equal, I think it's like within 30% of what you make, she needs to make only 30%. I think there was a study done on this. I'm trying to figure out I don't have the exact data with me, but I was going to talk about this in a separate episode. But it was something like 30% of your income or more, you're going to have relationship problems. So you need to make 30%. Okay. Was it 30% of your income, or you need to make 30% more? One of those, right? So you need to make at least 30% more than she makes for her to respect you. Period. That sucks, right? But that means you guys gotta figure it out. You got to figure out some way to make money, or just date someone who's broke. Date a broke woman. Date a young, broke woman. I mean, that's it. But you have to still be able to afford a family. If she's broke, you got to be able to afford, to take care of her and all that stuff. Yeah. It is what it is, you guys. But, AI is going to take all of women's comfy jobs, and only jobs that are going to be left are going to be like the ones you need to be strong to do. So it might flip things again. We might go back. Who knows? The reality is, most of history, most women were like prostitutes, or they worked in a family's home and they didn't have families of their own. Like only a few people could afford to have families and kids. The rest of them, they just had regular jobs or, whatever. And they didn't have families and kids. There was very few poor people with families and kids. It is what it is. All right. So, okay, what's my take on social media, and is it a conspiracy to keep people isolated? Now, I did not always think social media was that bad. Also because I'm from like Gen X, so I grew up without social media, without the internet, without cell phones, without being able to be contact 24/7. So when I get something like social media, I feel more like I'm in control, like I can just put it away because I know how to act. Yeah, Gen X time. So I know how to act without technology, without a phone. Like I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't have, like how some people can't go to the bathroom, they can't go to a store, they can't go to the mall, they can't go anywhere without a phone. Like that is still weird for me. So sometimes like I'll just leave my phone here and I'll go walking around the neighborhood, and the young kids, like the Gen Zs, whatever, or the younger kids, they can't even fathom being alone with their thoughts on a walk. And I heard like they were calling it something. They were calling it like, what's it called? Like raw dogging life or something like that. Like they were calling it some weird thing, like on like some trend or some whatever. They were like, they would film people like who are on a plane, 20, 30 hours flight. There's no television or anything. And the people didn't have like their phones on. So they're just sitting there. And the young kids are like, oh, how could you do that? How is this possible? What's wrong with them? They must be insane. And that's because the young kids grew up with it. So they have no ability to just be there and sit with your thoughts, which is kind of nice, I don't know if it's just because like I'm old and that's just how life used to be. But I like the silence of no phone, no TV, no music, no nothing. And you're just thinking, you're just like replaying everything you need to do with your life. You're just like going through your past, whatever, planning your future, or you're just kind of like enjoying the moment. Like, I don't know, like when I was a kid, looking out the window and like fantasizing about like, if there's a lake, swimming in that lake as you're in the car with your parents, just looking out and you're just kind of fantasizing about swimming in the lake, using your imagination. Like, oh, I can do this, or I could be on a boat over here, or I could do that, just thinking, just like, this is how humans are supposed to be. You guys, I don't even think they know how to sit on a hammock and relax with nothing but their thoughts. It's weird. It's yes. It's very weird how like they don't know like how to just walk around. Like, have you guys, when was the last time you all went to a store? No MapQuest, it's not called MapQuest. What's it called? No Google Maps, no phone with you. Maybe you write down your list of what you need to buy on a piece of paper and you just go drive to the school. You figure it out. You get there, right? All by yourself. And then you just walk around and you're just doing stuff. Yeah. Yesterday. Yeah. All right. How many Gen Zs do you think can do that though? How many? 1, 2, maybe? And the whole generation, or 1 or 2 of them can survive? What about like, the rest of them? They're not capable. I don't think so. I don't. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, this is true because there's a lot of them that they'll be watching television on their phone, maybe have like some music playing. Like, there's like 50 different, like, they don't know what silence is. They don't understand their own thoughts. You know how they were saying that there's a bunch of people that they don't have an inner monologue? They don't like think in their heads. I'm worried. I'm speculating that it could be because they are on their phone since they're born and they don't have their own thoughts. Like, if you don't use, like, think about it. We had to use our imagination by force because there was nothing to do or see or pay attention to. We're just like stuck in a line, stuck, in a car, stuck in a boring class after we finished our work, we're just stuck. And you have to be alone with your thoughts. And if they don't ever have moments alone with their thoughts, do they develop thoughts? Think about that. What if that's what's going on? What if these people who don't have inner thoughts just never developed them because they never had to think without something else on? I don't know. My girlfriend has no inner monologue. She just mumbles her thoughts out of nowhere. Yeah. I mean, well, sometimes Steve does say things out loud. That's a different thing. Like, speaking it out loud is one thing, but like, you should be able to imagine things in your head, imagine different scenarios. Oh my gosh. Yes, I did get the Gen Z Bible. I don't know where I put it. I thought it was hilarious though, so I got it. Yes, very good. This is an important skill. When people say like that you don't know how to read maps, I don't understand how you need to learn how to read maps. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just like, it's a map. I don't understand. And I saw like growing up, they'd be like these shows like, oh, women can't read maps or something like that. Or maybe it was men can't read maps. I don't remember which one it was, but it was like some stereotype. And I'm just like, how come people don't know how to read maps? It's a map. It just says across streets and you just kind of, go. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Road maps for direction. That's what I'm talking about. Like in the gas stations, they would have it for like the whole, I don't know, the city or whatever. Maybe you got a big one for the state. We had this huge one, like ginormous for the whole state of Florida. And, you could see everything. So I don't know. Look, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, let's see. Moving on. Let's see. What government cover-up do you think is real? And how did you come to the conclusion? I think they're all real. I can read a map. How dare you? Okay, moving on since they're all real. Okay. So, what's the biggest red flag for relationships that I learned while studying psychology? Okay. The biggest one is anytime somebody tries to speed things up, they are a red flag. Man or woman. Anyone who doesn't want to get to know you, who just wants to jump into bed or is just trying to push intimacy, and push trust in the beginning of a relationship is a red flag, because relationships need to move slowly, right? They need to be slow and very clear with a goal. Anyone that is trying to move fast is trying to prevent you from seeing that they're a loser, they're a hoe, they're mentally unstable, they're an alcoholic, they're a drug addict, they're dying of a chronic disease, they're already married and they're cheating, like there's something wrong with them. So people who, just think about whenever like a sleazy person is trying to sell you something that's not good for you. They want to overwhelm you with information and make it like super fast. And they're just constantly pushing and pushing and pushing you to do it. Whenever somebody wants speed, you need to slow everything down. Slow everything to a halt. Back away. When somebody is like comes up to you and they're trying to like convince you of something, even not relationship related, but very quickly, you need to slow it down. You need to be, whenever someone is like, oh, this sale is only good for 5 minutes, like slow it down. It's probably not worth it. Nobody pushes hard to sell something that's worth something. Think about it. Do you think Brad Pitt is there chasing women, convincing them he's got money and he wants to marry them? Do you think he's doing that? No. No. Nobody good is chasing someone down, convincing them you have to sleep with me today. This is like, right now. It's like, no. It's like, what are you even doing? No chick. Okay, that's a good chick, is like, you had to sleep with me on the first day, whatever. She's probably trying to do something to you. Maybe she found out you have money. She's trying to get knocked up. Merry Christmas, homie, have fun. Or whatever it is, always slow down. Oh, all of Hollywood is insane, and I don't even know if Brad Pitt's like a male anymore. Like, I don't even know anymore. Like, I don't know. There was some Paul Newman, I think it was, the one who has like the food company that's like affordable, organic type, healthier food options. He was like an actor in the olden times, way before even me. But anyways, he said when he quit acting that like all the top leading ladies of that time, of that generation, which was before me, they were all secretly men, and vice versa. A lot of the men were either into other men or secretly female. So I think Hollywood is super inverted. I think everything is a conspiracy with that place. I don't trust any of it, any of them. I don't even trust any of, like, if they're like, oh, so-and-so is married to so-and-so, I don't trust it. I don't trust that those are their kids. I don't trust anything that Hollywood or any political party tries to say to me anymore. I don't trust any of it. If you want to look to examples, you need to look in the real world, people you know, people you grew up with. I would trust that. You grew up with them, you went to school with them, you know them. There's a pretty good chance they're a regular human being, not some weird stuff going on. And you can kind of trust. So like when I think about like who I'm going to take relationship advice from, I don't ever look seriously at celebrities, because that's just fake. It's fake. It's all smoke and mirrors. So I will look to people I have met that have good relationships that I aspire. So for example, growing up, I would watch my friends' parents that I would be in their home like almost every day, and I would see how they interacted with each other. And that's what I would base like a good relationship on, right? Or a bad relationship on. And that's where I kind of got like red flags, green flags type of stuff. Like just for me, like my own personal ones are all based on different couples that I have met in my real world life. There's some stuff that I did learn in psychology. Yes, I did study psychology. that I can transfer over for sure. But mostly that stuff is like the manipulative stuff, or to find manipulative people. It's not really like green flags and good things. They kind of don't teach that type of stuff. They more like teach you the horrible stuff, and you kind of got to work backwards. But, anyways, all right. Do you believe in soulmates? No, absolutely not. That being said, fun fact, when I was a little kid, I want to say 4 or 5, I remember I used to pray when I was a little kid, and I kept saying, I would pray before I went to sleep, and I would say, please show me what my husband is going to look like. I want to see him. I want to see what he's doing right now. Right? I would do that like 4 or 5 years old. And then I would have this dream. It was the same dream of this little boy who was under a tree with a dog, and he had blonde hair, and it looked like a very sunny day. He was like out in the forest, and he had blonde hair, and he was under a tree with a dog. And I don't know anything about dogs, but it was like a dog. It would look like it was brown or like golden type of dog, right? I didn't really see details of the dog, but I just kind of like saw him, like it was like kind of like a dream state, like a blurry, like you're like when you go out into the sun after you've been in the dark and it's like so bright, like that type of brightness that I saw. And I would have that dream over and over again, right? But of course, I did not end up with a blonde, did I? No. When I met Stephen, he had dark brown hair, and that's it. That's how it goes. But anyways, I did find out later on that when he was a little boy, he had blonde hair, and then it turned brown over time. And I was like, that's interesting. But I didn't think anything of it again, because Stephen had a cat growing up, not a dog. So whatever. I just like, okay, I forgot about that. And then I found out when he was born, they had a dog, and that grew up with him, and then they put him to sleep. I don't know what age he was. And I don't know exactly what color it is, but I think it was kind of brown or something. So who knows? Who knows? But I think it's kind of funny and kind of hilarious, because this whole time I was like, oh, I gotta find this blonde kid. That's the one I'm supposed to be with. And I ended up with someone who wasn't blonde. But, and now he's gray and turning white. I did that. I'm kidding. So, yeah. So, do I still believe, even with that dream and all that weird stuff, in soulmates? No, I don't. I don't know. I think everything is like there's multiple different paths you take, and each path ends to a different place. And that's it. Right? But it's fun to think about. It's just like a fun thing to think about. Okay. Do I have any esoteric ideas like manifestation, and do they play into my approaches and relationships? I don't know if we would call it manifestation. I think we would call it like maybe your attitude. I do believe you could change how people respond to you by how you speak to them. There is like a resonance that happens between human beings, right? So if someone has like a lot of negative thoughts and feelings, and they're holding on to a lot of resentment, anger from their past, they're still mad about things that people have done to them in the past, and they have this on their shoulders. And you see that a lot with people who've been through trauma, or some sort of like depression, or like somebody was mean to them. There was an injustice, and they carry that in their body and on their shoulders and stuff, right? When they go to speak to someone else, they're going to have that on their shoulders, and that's going to color how their energy is received, how they are, how the other person feels about them, based on how that person's inner world is. circulating in them. So I do think you have to check your energy before you speak to someone. And I know that it's like a weird thing for someone to say, check your energy. It sounds like a little woo-woo, but I just think of it as a very respectful thing to do. Like if you do not want to start a fight with someone, you have to check the energy you bring into the room. If you've ever walked into a room where people were fighting in it before you walked in, and the air kind of goes out and everybody kind of stares at you, and there's like a feeling there. Nobody's yelling and screaming right now, but there's a feeling there. That's the feeling you give people when you have a lot of stuff on your shoulders, when you're carrying a lot of weight. So you have to try to like be by yourself and try not like drain that energy. And you can do that by like forgiving the past and moving on and reminding yourself the person I am going to talk to now has nothing to do with the people that did the stuff in the past. And then check your voice, check your thoughts, check how your body tenses up or how you're expecting. A lot of people, when they've been through something, they're expecting negative things. Like, let's say if you were used or robbed by a girl, whatever, about like an old relationship, then you go to another person and you want to have a relationship with them, but you still have that weight on your shoulder and you're going to talk to them. Like anytime they mention something about money or doing something, you're thinking like, oh, they're going to steal my money or whatever. And you come with that energy. And it's not like that. Like you didn't give the benefit, you didn't clear the past before you move towards them. You got to be careful with that. That's a real thing. Energy is real. People feel things. Vibes. I know you're like, girls are crazy with their vibes. Vibes are real. Guys even feel vibes. You guys pretend like you don't, but you know you do. That's why you get mad at some girls. You're like, oh, she was entitled, or she was bitchy, or she did this, and because you feel vibes too. Everybody does. Anyways. All right. So the next one is, are people wired for, okay, hold on 1 second. I know. I'm talking to someone. All right. I did want to show you guys this conspiracy thing that I watched yesterday. I'm going to find a clip of it. All right. Okay. So I saw this guy on Danny Jones, and it was like the most wild podcast I've ever watched. And then I found out that was like the third one he did on Danny Jones's podcast with this guy. So I'm like, we need to watch all of these this is like the most wild conspiracy stuff I've ever heard. And you know what? Like I don't know if any of this is real. I'm just going to say that. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's real, what's not real. All I do know is that what an entertaining ride it was. A crazy ride. And I actually, when he was talking about like the Epstein stuff and what he researched about like the Epstein and Ghislaine and who they are and all that stuff, like it just made a lot of sense to me. Then when he goes into the crazier conspiracies, it kind of got lost. I'm not going to lie, but I do feel it's so freaking wild and worth listening to. And also he made me go like, he convinced me that we need to team up with Israel. I know it's crazy, right? Like after what he said. And also first I watched Andrew Wilson on PBD's podcast, and they were talking about like when Andrew was debating like some Islam guy, and he was like which when I saw the interview, I'm like, that's really rude to be insulting them on their IQs and stuff like that. Like they can't help that, blah, blah, blah. But then like I was thinking about that. Yes, I know. But I was thinking about that. And then what this guy said about, which I think you guys should listen to, it's like 15 minutes. I don't know. This clip, you guys need to go look at this clip, the one that I'm hovering over, that one that's moving. So it's called, what is it? How do I? No.
Elijah Craig.
No, I did not want to click on that. Okay, how do I make this small? Okay, so it's like why the Quran is the #1 most dangerous biblical text in history. You guys need to watch this one. It's 15 minutes, just this part, but think of it in context to what Andrew said. And I'm not saying I like Andrew Wilson or whatever, or I don't like him. I'm not saying anything about him. I'm just saying that when he said that, and then I heard that, remember, I heard Andrew first. And then I heard this podcast and this clip in particular about, I realized that our only hope if we want to save the West is we need to team up with Israel. And I know some of you are going to get pissed off about that. Thank you, homie. I appreciate you. Lord Gonzo. So I know some of you are going to get pissed off, but I think he makes an exquisite point about this stuff. And you guys need to watch it. That's all I'm saying. Watch it. I might have, because you know that Damon is going to be full like in on it. Like let's, because you know Damon like doesn't like Islam because they've taken over the UK and he's all upset about it and butthurt. Because like, you know, it's harder for him to pick up chicks because like now they don't want to be out at night, and it's like, you know, it's harder on the boy. So it is what it is. You guys got to be really careful out there. I think we need to team up with Israel. Just gonna say it. Nobody's gonna like it. And I know. But yeah. And if you watch this clip with the context of Andrew beforehand, I think you all will come to the same conclusion. And I know some of you are like team, what's that guy? Nick Fuentes or whatever. But just give him a chance. Just give him a chance and you'll see. All right. So did anybody have, oh, you got no beef with Andrew anymore? That's good. I do not know what I had for lunch 35 weeks ago. What are you talking about? Oh my gosh. Let's see. Okay, let's see. My gosh. Anyways. So, do you guys, maybe I don't know. I feel like if I play a little bit, it'll get clipped.
By the year 2075, we will have a Muslim majority on this planet. I spent a great deal of time studying Islam in depth and detail. My master's thesis was on Islam and universal human rights. And I went into the Quran, like into the weeds of it, into the whole Islamic legal tradition. In other words, the construction of Sharia law from out of the Quran, okay? And if people want to see, my analysis of that, they should read my book, World State of Emergency, which came out in 2017. And in that book, World State of Emergency, I argue very clearly for why. Islam is not reformable. Number one, Islam is not reformable. I'm no fan of Christianity. You've heard me criticize it on your show. But there are fundamental structural and historical differences between Christianity and Islam. Christianity is a religion that came into being 300 years after the time of Jesus. There were a plethora of divergent and conflicting Christian sects at the time, and many rival interpretations of the scriptures. And these 4 gospels that wound up being canonized in Nicaea also conflict with one another, not to mention the tens of gospels that were rejected at Nicaea and could retrospectively be considered equally Christian, okay? So Christianity is a historical process that took several centuries to evolve. And then after Nicaea, the church over time, over another subsequent millennium, broke up into many different pieces. Mm-hmm. The Orthodox broke from the Catholics, then you had the Protestant Reformation, you got hundreds of different Protestant sects. So Christianity is this very polymorphic phenomenon. Mm-hmm. And even if you want to reject the whole of it, which I do, From a sociological and political standpoint, it's fundamentally different from Islam. The Quran was authored by Muhammad. It was written down in the lifetime of Muhammad by his scribes on the shoulder blade bones of camels, and then subsequently transcribed onto paper. We have not found any divergent copies of the Quran. In other words, there are no alternate versions of the Quran that have survived. So we have to assume that it's been consistently preserved since the time of Muhammad. And what people call Sharia law, in other words, Islamic jurisprudence, is entirely grounded in the Quran. Yes, complex legal systems were built up from out of it later, but the injunctions about cutting off a thief's arm if he steals, or that a woman only inherits half the property of a man, or that you should beat your wife if she gets out of line, or how you should treat your slaves, meaning slavery is completely justified by Allah. All of this stuff is in the Quran itself. And most importantly, as I lay out in that part of World State of Emergency, by the way, I have an article on my Substack that reiterates some of these core points about Islam that I came out with recently, so people could look at that too. It's called Muhammad's Despicable Religion. So the most important point is that in the Quran...
What year was the Quran written again?
In the 630s, in 620s.
Okay.
Yeah. It was written over a period of 20 some odd years.
Okay.
22 years. And so the most important thing is in the Quran, multiple times, Allah says, remember, the Quran is not written by Muhammad. He's a channeler. Allah is speaking through him, and Allah refers to Muhammad in the third person. Whenever Muhammad is referred to, he's referred to out of Muhammad's own mouth in the third person. And there's some very weird passages in there that have convinced me that he didn't make it up. It's a genuine work of channeling. Okay.
So this guy is amazingly smart. Like he has like stunning recall abilities. He remembers names, dates, a whole bunch of stuff. So like, very fascinating interviewee. I mean, amazing. I think you guys should watch the whole episode, but I'm gonna finish the rest of this. But like, he is a Persian American, so like obviously I'm biased, but that aside, he's a Persian American, and he went to like a very prestigious school that I think I think it was one that Jeffrey Epstein, I think, might have taught in or something like that, some place in New York or whatever. And he was talking about that and like a bunch of Epstein stuff, if you're into that conspiracy. What he said about Epstein, one of the things that was interesting was that like he does not believe that Epstein and Ghislaine are like high level people. He believes that, they killed maybe Israel, maybe like some other people, whatever. They killed Ghislaine's father, and the father had like funneled the money to Jeffrey Epstein. So she knew the money was with him. So then she went down to be with him, and he had the money and all this stuff like that. And that they were trying like some sort of like ghetto, more without a lot of money, without a lot of resources, ghetto way of making some sort of, what would you say, like a breeding program for specific people to have like a breakaway society. And like, it was like a bunch of interesting stuff. Also, like he was also talking about how Ghislaine's father was very close to Jacques Cousteau, he was like a traveler or something, and he would like do like deep sea dives and stuff like that. And he had told her and her dad that he was looking for Atlantis, like low key. He was secretly just wanted to find the city of Atlantis, and he believed that it was real. And she became obsessed with the idea of Atlantis and finding it and all that stuff, and like the civilization before our current civilization, whatever. And the temple that's on Epstein's island, he says it's a temple for Poseidon, which was like from Atlantis, right? So she is like super into it, and like he was going into like all these sci-fi types of books that she's into, and he's into sci-fi stuff too. So like that was really fun. Yeah. So it's just like, it's interesting. Look, I don't know if this shit's real. I don't know if anything he says is real, but I'm just like, what a fascinating storyteller, if nothing else. And then he gets into like super crazy esoteric stuff after he says this highly backed and researched believable stuff. Then he goes into crazy esoteric stuff, and I'm just like, wow. But definitely, like, I don't know what to believe anymore. I just know that whatever we're told is not it. That's where I'm at right now, you guys. Like, I don't know what to believe. I just know whatever they tell us is fake for sure, because why would they tell us the truth? Maybe, I don't know. But they're really into like Nordic people, like Nordic tall blonde people. Oh, and he did have like a funny anecdote, like a story about like how after Epstein was in jail or he was like whatever, dead or whatever, that Ghislaine started dating this Nordic guy, like a younger, tall Nordic guy. And like they'd pull him up and he has black hair. So Danny Jones was like, he doesn't look Nordic. He doesn't look blonde. And he's like, well, pull up the guy's parents. And the parents were both blonde. And he's like, not every Nordic person gets the blonde hair, but like, that's still like, you know, she wants to build a society of these people, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, but it's interesting. But then the funny part was that she was dating him. She gave him $20 million. And then he left her for his yoga teacher. Poor girl. But it happens, you know? So he basically robbed her of $20 million. Can you imagine? Wild. Okay, let's continue.
Whatever channelers do. Look, channelers are a dime a dozen. We got plenty of them. You go any New Age section of a bookstore, you can find like books by 5 different channelers who claim that God is talking through them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Muhammad was one of these people.
Okay. And you think he wasn't grifting? You think he was really
and in fact, to be fair to Muhammad, and I hate to be fair to Muhammad, but to be fair to Muhammad, his initial reaction was that either I'm losing my marbles or I'm being possessed by demons. He ran out of that cave where he encountered so he's in this cave by himself, and somebody comes up and grabs him from behind, and he tries to get free, and the person or entity behind him says, recite, and he's like, I'm illiterate, recite what? And all of a sudden, this stream of narrative like comes through his mind, and he starts reciting it, and he runs out of that cave like, you know, like with the bejesus scared out of him. And by the way, on the way out of that, scampering down the hillside out of that cave, he sees a UFO. And he hears the same voice that told him to recite. He hears it coming from out of the UFO. And he turns his head. He's like, you know, like, what am I really seeing this? And the thing follows him.
This is in the Quran?
And then later in the hadiths are it's in the Quran, but later in the hadiths, you have a much richer version of this. And the hadiths are the traditions of what Muhammad said and did, passed down through the people who knew him. And so anyway, he gets home to his wife and he says, listen, I'm either losing my fucking marbles or demons are trying to possess me. And his wife had a few Christian friends. And these stupid Christian women convinced Muhammad that God was really talking to him. Okay. So he started to take himself seriously. And then it became a power trip after that.
It's always a women's fault. Let's go on.
Anyway, the important point I was trying to make is that in the Quran itself, Allah repeatedly claims this is a complete and perfect book. You are not at liberty to follow some parts of it and reject other parts of it. You cannot change any part of it. It's a word once and for all. It will remain valid for eternity until the day of judgment. Okay? Meaning that all the legal verses in the Quran are unchangeable and they have to be followed, you know, to the dot of an I and cross of a T. And that's the basis of Sharia law. Okay. So now to go back to the demographics, by 2075, the trends show we're going to have a Muslim majority on this planet.
And who projected this?
You can look it up. There's various different, you know, demographics projections.
Okay.
Maybe the even more disturbing projection is that much sooner than 2075, maybe by 2050, some of the largest metropolitan areas in Europe are going to be Muslim majority. And we see what's already happening in Britain.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And next is going to be either France or Germany. And look, it's the metropolitan, for better or for worse, it's the metropolitan areas of a country that define its constitution. And they are becoming, you know, majority Muslim.
Google AI says, yes, the global Muslim population is projected to become the majority by 2075, according to a study by the Pew Research Center. And this is due to the higher Muslim birth rate, which is projected to cause the number of Muslim babies born to outnumber Christian babies within the next 2 decades. By the end of the century, Muslims are expected to be about 34.9% of the world's population compared to 33.8% for Christians. Whoa.
Now, what's worse?
That's nuts.
Yeah, what's worse, as I just said, what's worse is that they're going to be a majority in Europe well before that. And by majority, I mean decisive political majority. So, if you look at the history of Lebanon, modern Lebanon, Lebanon was a diverse country that included many Lebanese Christians, people with strong cultural ties to France, you know, very secular Western mindset. And then the Shiite Muslim population started to grow. And at a certain point, when it became around 30-something%, the Muslims basically tried to take over the whole country. And we had the Lebanese Civil War and the creation of Hezbollah. And Lebanon turned into this horrific, violence-ridden, failed state that it is to this day. Okay? So, and this is a pattern you see all throughout history, is that when Muslims get to a certain sizable minority, not even a majority, they basically bully everybody else around them into submission.
But let me ask you a question.
Remember, you're asking me about why do I support Israel? So we'll come back.
We're getting deep down a rabbit hole. So
it's important to set it up.
It is important. I think so too. When you talk about Muslims, right, you're obviously broad brushing a large group of people. Like when you refer to Christians, right, I know a ton of Christians who are great people, loving, kind, compassionate
because
people.
you're allowed to be as a Christian.
And I also know that there is the Children of God cult, where they literally like children. So like, are we talking about jihadists, or are we talking,
Jihad is the responsibility and duty of every single Muslim. The Quran says so. The Quran is absolute. It is a set in stone prescription for all time. As I just said, it repeats this claim over and over again. So it's completely different from the Bible. The Bible is massively internally contradictory and has been composed over hundreds of years by many different authors.
Yes.
And it's been fought over from the beginning fiercely. I mean, the Gnostic sects didn't even agree with each other, let alone the Gnostic sects and the Orthodox sects. And it's a shit show, the formation of Christianity. Islam is monolithic in its core belief structure. The only thing they fought about, which caused the Shiite versus Sunni schism, was a leadership question. There was a fight over who the legitimate successors to Muhammad were. Was it the Sunni caliphs, or was it blood descendants of Muhammad through Ali? That's the only thing they fought. They did not fight over what the Quran says and what an Islamic society should look like. So my point is this. Yeah, of course, there are many decent Muslims, people born into Islam,
that don't believe all the shit in the Quran.
Because they don't know it and they haven't read it. And what happens is, once you have a sizable enough Muslim minority, not even majority, it's always the fundamentalist, meaning the basic core message of the Quran, that monopolizes discourse. And then the Muslims who are devout, meaning they're truly adherent to the Quran, wind up intimidating all the other Muslims into compliance. And this, of course, happened in Iran. I mean, this is the story of, post-1979 Iran, where the vast majority of people couldn't have cared really less about Islam, but there was an increasingly large minority of people who took the Quran seriously and took their duties as Muslims seriously. And these people eventually took the entire society hostage. And now we've had 46 years of a fundamentalist Islamic theocracy there. Okay. And you see this pattern all across the Islamic world. Now, to go back to why is it that I support Israel?
Well, I want to clear, like what you said does make a lot of sense when you're looking at Islam and you explained it as being a monolith versus Christianity as it being just fractured into many different sects. Like if there was going to be some collision course of right and left, or Islam and Christianity, you would see how Islam would win.
Also, Danny, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and unto God what is God.
What is
God's? Okay, so all throughout the Gospels, you see these very contradictory Gospels written by many different authors, unreliable witnesses, etc., versus the Quran coming out of Muhammad's mouth. In these Gospels, you see Jesus repeatedly say that it's not our business to take political power.
Right.
So actually, the evangelicals who want to create a biblical republic in the United States are not very good Christians, because Jesus repeatedly disavows the use of force to take political power.
Like Peter Thiel and some of these other people in the White House. Like Peter Thiel's trying to paint Christianity onto everything in Silicon Valley and do these press conferences on the Antichrist.
Well, and all of the evangelical megachurches that have had a hold on political power in this country since George W. Bush, right? At least. So they're not very good Christians, because Jesus, I mean, look, he says many contradictory things, but one fairly consistent message. I can't believe I'm finding myself like advocating anything, on behalf of Jesus of all people. But look, he basically is a pacifist, and he disavows the use of force and political coercion, as a means of furthering righteousness. I mean, this is really pretty much at the core of the Christian message. And so, for example, like, as much as the Catholic Church was in bed with various potentates throughout the European history, they were still distinct entities. You had various European royal families and kingdoms, and, now and then one or another one would be more closely aligned with the Vatican, you see, but it was never one monolithic institution. The caliphate, the Khalifa, from the beginning, was the complete unity of what we would call in the West church and state. It's a non-distinction. Right. It is a radical theocracy. Islam calls for radical theocracy. You cannot separate the church from the state at all.
Is it baked into their education system too?
100%. They memorize the Quran from childhood. Okay. So, in matter of fact, the reason they do that is called becoming a hafez. The reason they do that is so that in case the written copies of the Quran are ever lost, or it's ever in doubt what it said, the Quran will be in the memories of thousands of people, so they can recompose the book.
All right, and he goes on, and I think you guys should totally watch the entire podcast. I highly recommend it. It was a great, like the funnest podcast ever. And I think it was 4 hours. It was 4 hours. And I'm telling you, we were like on the edge of our seats the entire time, because it's just like, what? Is this true? Oh my gosh. Like the entire time. So highly recommend it. Watch that episode. And he also has 2 other episodes with Danny Jones that I have not watched, that I'm totally going to watch. Yes, Steve does recommend it. He almost told his very psychotically religious parents to watch this episode, and then like I heard him recommend it because he didn't see he didn't finish the full episode to get when he gets to the esoteric stuff, but he was like, you need to watch it on like, you know, to learn about the Epstein things, what was really happening, whatever. And then I looked him up, this guy on X, and then let me show you guys what his X says. I don't know if this is his real X though, if it's his real X account. I don't know, but I have a feeling that it is. Oh, what is his name? Okay. All right. So let me share it. Okay. So this is his X account, right? He calls himself a philosopher, whatever. But then there's nothing since 22, right? 2022, right? So I'm like, okay, so maybe he doesn't exist. Hold on. Hold on. Let me find his other one. This is what I think is his other one, but I don't know if it is. Okay. So here. All right. Creepy as hell. I'll look at his website. This has a link to his Substack. Let's open that another page. And it shows like 2 hours ago he updated, right? He's got Epstein stuff here. Interesting. Blah, 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 right? But look what he wrote here. Location, the Great Satan. Does that mean America? And then he put American philosopher, proudly satanic. So I don't know if this is like some joke or whatever, but like imagine like the fact that he was recommending this guy's podcast to his hyper religious parents is like, wow, that I ran up to him like, no, don't tell your parents to watch him. They're gonna like come at us like Stephen, how dare you tell us to watch a Satanist? Oh my God. So anyways, okay, let's see. This is his Substack. See, this is not looking this, I don't know. Yeah. I don't see much here. Like, how do I see stuff? You gotta log in or create an account. What is this? Oh, he's got a YouTube. Let's see. How do I? Okay. There's a lot of Baphomets. That's all I'm saying. He also has like 9 years ago something on Zoroastrianism. Yeah, I think he's a Gnostic. But look, whatever he is, is that true? I don't know. Maybe. Anyways, look. Steve's parents' religion is like, I think they're like Anabaptist or something, but they're like super religious. Like they moved to Israel. They moved their whole family to Israel to be like, what's it called when you try to convert people? I don't know. But like super religious. Anyways, is he a woo-woo shaman? Maybe. Like he says philosopher. Can anyone be a philosopher? Can I be a philosopher? I think I just want to write philosophy books, like my own philosophy. I don't know if he's Masonic because I don't think he likes Masonic stuff. I don't know. let's see, what are some of his things? He has really weird esoteric books. Let me see if I can find on that he's written on Amazon. Okay. How do I show this? All right. So this is one of the books, Thenosis. Let's see, where he talks about life after death. Like he believes in like Earth is like a loosh farm. Have you heard of like this loosh farming stuff? I don't know, you guys. I don't know anything anymore. I don't know. Okay, so I guess this is his other books. Let's see. All right. So he's got Close Encounters, Disclosure, UFOs, blah, 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 blah. You know, that type of weird stuff. Oh, he's got like this one. Let's see what this one is. Prometheus and Atlas. Interesting. Paranormal, blah, 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 blah. Okay. What is this? Satanion? I don't know how to read that. Satanion? Okay. Psychic, phenomenal, paranormal, blah, blah, blah. What? Something about like there's a, like we're in a simulation. I don't know. We're in the arms of a cosmic trickster. So this is like some super crazy stuff. I'm not saying I believe any of it. I'm saying this is wild and fascinating. And you know what? It's just freaking fun. All right. It's just fucking fun to watch it. Just just freaking suspend your animation. Wait, is that what's it called? Suspend your whatever. Just freaking watch it, and it's interesting. Look, this is true. I'm just gonna become a philosopher. Look, I always wanted to be like either like a philosopher or what's it called? Like a cult leader, you know? But not like a bad cult. I'm not gonna bang anyone. Just like a cult where like you have to have organic food and you need to get sunlight, you know, like I would just make it healthy. Like it'd be like a healthy cult. Think biohacking, but less annoying. And that would be my cult. And you got to be into that stuff. Let's see. Congratulations. Okay. I do know who Jade Dryer is, but I don't really watch any of his stuff. So maybe I'll look into it. Like if you can recommend something, like, I don't know, post it in the Discord, I'll look at it. But I don't know, like, where do I start? Like I want to start in a good one because I get bored very easily. So you only got like one episode to catch me. So what is up? All right. What else? Here's some other topics that he talks about. Oh, let me go to no. Okay. All right. So he does stuff on aliens. That's cool. All right. He doesn't seem to like Christianity. He thinks it's fake. Nobody agrees with anything. He thinks maybe Jesus is real, I think, from what I gathered. But he thinks Christianity is just a bunch of different conflicting stories that were written way after he was alive. And he goes into why he believes that, and that's fine. You know, believe whatever you want. He thinks we're in a simulation and they're like loosh farming us, which I've heard about so much online. There's so many people who are talking about this loosh farming business where my Discord link is broken. Okay, let me get the new link. Just relax. No tattoos. Tattoos are not healthy. Wait, where's the no tattoos? I have to find it now. Hold on. All right, guys, this is the link to the Discord. Please join and post conspiracies. But you have to like, if it's something you want me to watch for the podcast or to like react to or something, you have to tag me specifically and then write what it is, you know, in the link and what you want me to respond to or whatever. Just so like I have an idea, because like, don't make it 50 hours. Like, relax. I have a very short attention span. Okay. Yeah, like it's all like, I don't know, like I don't know of any religion that I absolutely really 100% believe anymore. I really feel like, especially after listening to like the Asian guy, Professor Yang, like his series on like all the religions, how Judaism started, why it started, like it makes so much freaking sense. And like how they like it was to bring them together and like say we're better than other people so that they can come together against other people who are gonna like take over, you know. It made a lot of sense. So like I'm just like, okay, like if you need to bring people together, a religion really does it. So I don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows what's right. Yeah, and a lot of people say the elites especially are doing Saturn worship. Yeah, and there's definitely some, like I would say there's like that Jewish mysticism sect that does all that stuff, but most Jewish people, like they're secular and they don't know anything at all about religion. Like they're just like, yeah, it's like a cultural thing. Like they don't know anything. And the reality is, I think as much as I don't like it, because I like Christianity, I like the nations that it built, I like the family structure that it gives, I like the countries that are based on Christianity and how they operate. I like Christianity. I think it is a very good system. I know this guy doesn't like it. He thinks it's like wishy-washy. Like there's too many, it's too split up and there's too much infighting. I get that, right? But I like the results of it. And if you're going to judge something by its fruits, judge it by what it makes. And the society it makes, I like. That's all. That's all I can say. So I'm very sad that Christianity is not winning because I prefer their societies. I just do. But it did not work out. Like, I don't know. Like in Israel, my husband lived there for a bajillion years. I don't know. Like, I guess that's the only Jewish society that we have. They are family first. The women are hyper masculine and rude, though. That's what he said. They're very much domineering mothers. So I don't like that. But Persian culture, too, they have a lot of domineering mothers, which is not good. It's not good. I do not like it. I think women should just be chill and relaxed. So like, you know, leave everybody alone. Just let them chill. I think we need to actually go to like a time where women don't have to work. They don't need to do anything. They just need to like hang out with each other, like, you know, hens clucking around, picking bugs on the floor. But instead of picking bugs off the floor, they're like talking smack about each other and other people and raising their kids together. I think that's what they need. That's what we need. Like just the women just spend all day like raising the kids and like foraging or something like that. That's what and the men do the real work, like separated away. And then the men get tired and then they come home and the women are tired And then like they're done clucking, and then like everybody gets to have a nice relaxing home life, eat a nice meal, put the kids to bed, cuddle, watch TV. Maybe not TV. Maybe we don't have electronics anymore. Maybe we just sit around a fire and tell stories. Why can't we do that? But whatever. But Christianity kind of lost, you guys. I think you have to realize it. As much as it pains me to say, I don't see people going to church anymore. I don't see men going to church. The people who I know go to church, they go to these secular rainbow churches. So that's not real. It's like made up stuff. There's no like, it's not strong enough. Their people are not like, they don't have any serious convictions. They're very passive. They're very like, whatever you want. They're like libertarians. Like they don't matter, like it's nothing anymore. So we need the Jews is what I realized after listening to this nonsense. We need them. Because at least they help each other, and maybe like, we can come together with them and we can fight the invading forces, because I just don't like the society it brings. No offense to individuals who like are from different religions or whatever. It's like, I don't want to live there. Like I want us to have a society that's not as like, I don't like polygamy. I don't like the inbreeding. I don't like that the women can't go outside. I feel like women should be able to go outside. Is that radical? Just like we should be able to go to brunch, and we should feel safe going to brunch. And that's it. Now, do I like some things? Yes. Like maybe cover up a little more. Maybe you don't have to dress like a prostitute. Like that's all I'm saying. Don't dress like like just take a little bit from that. Like don't dress like a prostitute. Yeah, we need that in society. Let's have a little bit of that. A little bit of shame, a little bit of don't dress like a prostitute, a little bit of like don't sleep around, a little bit of that. Just take a little bit, like a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then make it like a very conservative-ish society. That would be nice. That's all I'm saying. Now, I do know that the Jews love their corn because they make a lot of money off of that. So I don't think the Jews would be okay with the women here covering up, because that's going to affect their bottom line, and you know how they are with their money. So maybe we can't come to terms with that. But if it comes down to it, we're going to need each other, or everybody's going to be absorbed. We're all just going to be like, all of our ancestors are going to be like the Handmaid's Tale, basically. So only the rich people get wives, and they're not allowed outside. They're not allowed outside. So imagine, like, even if you're like a rich guy in that society, you're going to be stuck in a house with your wife all the time. You're going to go crazy. Facts. You're going to go crazy. She can't go outside. She can't have friends. She can't like talk to anyone. That's nuts. It's going to be wild. Like, I don't know. So that's all I'm saying. Maybe we need some people to come and help all of us and be chill. Yes. Well, like he was talking about it, just because a small amount of fundamentalists, am I saying that right? Fundamentalists are in Islam. Ultimately, those are the ones who are going to make policies, right? The fundamentalists make policies. So would you rather have a fundamentalist Jewish leader or a fundamentalist Christian leader? I think our days are done with that. There's not enough people who are really Christian. So I don't know. So look, it is what it is. Yeah. The secular people, the wishy-washy, libertarian, religious people, you know what I'm saying? Libertarian, because like I'm not going to pick a side. Everybody leave everybody alone. Everything is fine. Like libertarians just like, come on, bro. Just, do you have a backbone about anything? Pick something. All right. Yes. Your latchkey wife is going to torture you. And she's going to have nobody to like bitch to but you. So she's going to be mentally ill. Unless you have a big family. And the reality is, if you guys are not already Muslim with a big Muslim family, you will be pushed out of the society because they only marry within their society. And if you are not in their society, you're not going to get, and the secular women, they don't want to get married anymore. So like, what are you guys going to do? You can't force anybody. I mean, maybe you can, maybe we can, maybe that's what happens. I don't like that either. But I feel like they're losing power. I don't know if you've noticed the internet lately, but I feel like the Jewish people are losing power in this country. And that's going to, look, you got to have, when like one power structure leaves a void, guess what's going to happen? That void's going to get filled. And if it's not the Jewish people, it's going to be Islam. And you got to decide, who do you want there? We've already had the Jews there this whole time. All right. Yes, everybody's a whore now. Yeah. But you know what? I don't know what to tell you guys. Look, the reality is this is where we're at. Look, don't give up. Don't give up. I just think, I don't know. No, is hungry good? What are you talking about? Look, they need both. You need to win hearts and minds too. I don't like how like Tate was promoting Islam. I'm like, stop it with that. Because this is what pisses me off. See, like, you know how capitalism always like gives people the reality is you're going to be either as wealthy as your parents or less wealthy as your parents. That's the reality of how the world works, right? Moving up in class is very, very hard to do, very rare, and doesn't last generationally. Even if one person gets up, by a generation or two, they're going to be back down. That's how this class system works. But like, what was I going to say about how the whole polygamy thing? They promote it like everybody's going to have multiple wives. Only like 1% of guys are going to have all the wives, and no other man's going to have any wives. That's how it's going to ultimately work. It's going to be like, if you're not in a wealthy family, you're not going to have any wives. And if you're like poor, you're going to be out of luck. That's just it. Or you're going to maybe be able to marry your cousin. I don't know. That's it. Like, what are you going to do? I don't know. I think they need to work on their PR. And I'm pretty sure the Jews invented PR. So like, why are they getting so bad at this? Like, they're getting so bad at, they need to fix it. Like, I don't know, somebody like give them some tips how to get better with their PR. We need to like bring society back together. That's all we need to do. What? I don't celebrate Christmas because I'm gay. What? Okay. I'm happy for you. Oh, you're talking about the Christmas thing. Yes, you don't have to celebrate Christmas. Nobody's making anybody celebrate Christmas. We're all done with Christmas. Men, okay, this is the reality of men. Men always imagine they're going to be the wealthy man. That's wild to me. 99% of you are going to be broke with no women. No women. So you guys got to stop with this polygamy fantasy, all right? You got to stop with that. Like the whole like Tate thing. But yeah, most men, even Islamic men, will have one wife or more likely no wives. Because it's usually like you have a big family, they can afford to have this many kids. So then the oldest brother gets all the money in the family to pay for a wife, because you're probably going to bring that back. So you're going to pay for the wife. And like that wife, the one brother gets. I don't know. Like, it's not a good system, you guys. It's not great. It's not great. I don't believe in a patriarchy or a matriarchy. I don't believe in any of that. I just believe in, like, you know, people will do what they're allowed to do by whatever policies they pick. Well, I don't know. Why do you guys think there's camels in Persia? Like, we have snow. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways, you guys, we are well past an hour and a half, and I just wanted to do like a quick pop in, but I hope you guys had a fun Christmas if you celebrate, or a fun, what is it called? Like the winter solstice or Yalda. Like, there's like those winter holidays, you guys. I don't know if you guys are pagan or whatever you're doing. Yes, we actually have one of the best skiing locations on Earth. Thank you very much. So, I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and maybe I will be back before next weekend. Maybe I'll come on during the week. Let's see. My kid got really sick, so hopefully I don't get the stomach virus and I'm not throwing up all next week, but what are you talking about? We don't have imperialism anymore. Like, whatever. Anyways, everybody have a great new year, and I will see you all next time I come on, because I don't know when I'm going to stream again. So, yeah, everybody's getting sick. Guys, don't get sick. Be healthy. Stay away from people. And thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. And I hope you have a great rest of your night. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.
The old gods whisper with tongues of sin. They crawl through culture to pull you in. Don't be for sale, don't wear their grin. The old are rotten, don't let them win. Eyes and heads and mirrored glass. They promised youth, they cursed your past. You drank the lie with ruby lips, but every toast is one